Welcome one and all to my first ever Sportive, the Struggle Dales. 174 kilometres, 3,600 metres of elevation, taking in 7 official climbs, plus a plethora of bonus kickers and undisclosed summits to scale. Good luck for tomorrow, everybody. Cheers. Here's the difference, 2 fills. There you can see, and look, my pint glass is half. The back pedal peloton.
Have a good day, Phil. Good to see you, mate.
You too, Phil. Don't leave me.
So, nice day today.
Out the saddle. 6 watts a kilogram, David Raynham.
I'm in zone 4, Phil.
I can't see my power because need to figure out how to turn the map off.
Little lights on top, so
No. I think this is about 250 watts.
I'm being... 407.
Oh. Definitely, there's a nasty climb very shortly after this. The climb through Bedlam village is one of the 7 official climbs on the route book, but in reality, it's not even an aperitif, merely a leg opener. Yeah. David Raynham, Lee Baxter and Coach Laverack went max effort, whilst Michael Harran, Tommy Blake, Phil Rich and myself stuck to our sweet spot plan. Bedlam, Michael.
Yeah, indeed.
Conquered. We're nearly conquered. Yeah. Not quite conquered.
On the way.
Spinning to win, Tommy. Rev it like Lance. All the cliches are here. Courtesy of bike racing without mercy. That's it, out of saddle looks better. Okay. Better for the camera. Got to push ahead. There we go. 800 watts. And now we crest Bedlam sedately, because we know what's to come. After some pleasant rising, a mere 8 kilometres later lurks something very much more sinister. The KOM start point secreted innocuously amongst the limestone housing in a handsome village, a veritable wolf in sheep's clothing. Welcome one and all to the chaos of Hartwith Bank. It clocks in at an eminently doable 1.1 kilometres and 11% average gradient. Eminently doable on paper, or on Strava that is. But Yorkshire does not do linear, and it's the middle 700 metres that counts. And that 700 metres creates all kinds of chaos. And as you see, Coach Laverack and David Freight Train Raynham, David in the yellow arm warmers, were straight up the road. The rest of us, well, we dug in for the long haul. Eddie? Yep. As you can see, the gradients are insane, so VO2 max power was a necessity. And at these points, for me, it was a case of up and out the saddle, taking regular glances at the power meter to ration out the VO2 max power like a miserly army quartermaster. This is clearly not a good part of the world to boil over. And you can also see here that Lee Baxter lives in the Lake District. He's used to the steep gradients. What a powerhouse. Seated and grinding on 25 to 35% gradients. Respect, Lee. I learned on Porlock Hill, the A-road climb in Exmoor, that on these really steep ascents you have to accept slow progress and keep the power as sustainable and therefore for me as close to threshold as possible, while still maintaining forward momentum, preferably in a straight line. Now it can feel very disconcerting on these really steep gradients up and out the saddle for the first 60 seconds. And this is because of the fear of grinding to a halt at these really slow speeds. But once you've established your rhythm and you've seen the power required, the minimum power required to go in a straight line, well, confidence then starts to rise and it all becomes a lot more manageable.
That's hard, isn't it? Hard, Daly.
180 beats a minute there.
That was disgusting.
Yeah.
Everybody's back together. Let's feel Ridge on the left, head on the right. We got Lee Baxter in the middle there, David Raynham front left. Ooh, 1 second. Tommy on the right and Paul Ingram at the very front. How you feeling, Phil? All good? Yeah, aperitif for you. Yep, look at this. Very exposed up here, but beautiful.
At 24 kilometres, Greenhow Hill provided our longest ascent of the day. 3.9 kilometres at a mere 7% average gradient.
It shadows off a little bit, then there's another steep ramp, Lee.
A Dales version of Box Hill, thought I, when perusing this on paper, until of course confronted by the first of 4 sheer ramps rising out of the jaw-droppingly pretty village of Pateley Bridge. This is a fantastic climb that I'd actually reconned the previous day with Paul, so I shouted out a few words of advice to Lee. Not sure why the bike was creaking like a garden gate here. It had only just been serviced after all. I stuck to my plan, and whenever the gradients fell below 12%, I was back to seated and sweet spot, and gradually clawed my way past a number of riders and got my way back to Lee Baxter eventually, as you can see here. So very much an action-packed first 30 kilometres, and having ticked off 3 of the official climbs, well, delusions of having chalked off at least 30% of the steep stuff started to set in as we glided on the excellent roads, and they really are excellent, nowhere near as sticky as I feared, towards the first feed stop. In the week preceding the event, I've been busy at work and omitted to do any research whatsoever as to what came after Greenhow Hill. And in some ways, this was a blessing, because I was just living in the moment and taking in the KMs as they came, protected by my power delivery strategy.
The Eagle has landed. Top Cat is an actual human being. TC and BWRM, nice.
I dropped out of our little group in order to get the B-roll footage of the church, the bells and the pretty village that you just saw, but also, I must admit, to answer a call of nature. But at 61 kilometres, I was soon confronted by the narrow dry stone walls of Malham Cove. 1.8 kilometres with 9% average gradient. But by now, you know the drill in Yorkshire, so drink in the carnage on the simply disgusting middle kilometre. All kinds of cycling techniques on display. A war of attrition, fighting gravity.
Do you again?
Rope me.
For those from the UK and of a certain age, or indeed those with children, I'm pretty certain that Postman Pat is currently on your mind. But I can report that there's no cute and cuddly black and white cat at the top of this climb. I should also add that it's amazing the difference the encouragement, the support
Thank
and all
you.
the bells make.
Much
Swift,
appreciated.
make note, add bells into the KOMs please. And also many thanks to all the marshals and people who organised the event. Massively appreciated, it was absolutely amazing.
Thank you for waiting. Appreciate that. Thank you. Cheers.
Right, cheers.
Oh my word. Descending. I can report descending is much easier than going up these things. Look at this. Glorious. Proper Postman Pat territory here. I'm thankful that we're not going up this, but fearful that there's one like this on the other side. Wowee, good to be alive. Yep, something disgusting is incoming. You can kind of see it just over there. I think David Raynham enjoyed that last climb.
I really did, yeah.
That's a certain kind of disgusting and a certain kind of special personality to enjoy that, Mr. Raynham.
Thank you. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, but
You, Ed.
you are Ed Laverack.
So,
Morning.
Rewarded at the top of Malham Cove with some very fine vistas and not much by way of pedalling on yet another spectacular descent, I assumed that the next lump of carboniferous limestone geology must be Park Rash. I mean, look at it. But as you'll see, as Tommy informed me at the top of the climb, not so. This was merely one of the more imposing, undisclosed bonus climbs. Radio tower, eat your heart out. So it was a case of select smallest gear, get up and out the saddle, establish the momentum, and then spin up around threshold.
Well, that was unpleasant, wasn't it, Tommy?
Pretty sure that one was worth it.
Carbohydrates have been ingested. Many carbohydrates are going down with Tommy. Tommy, but look at this! You haven't made very rapid work through all of this, my God. Your Uncle David's going to have a word. Dear me. Quote unquote, I've enjoyed them all.
I've enjoyed them all.
And for anyone doing the struggle, be aware of the fact that there are bonus climbs. It's very much like the radio tower in Watopia. They're not on the actual map, but they're flipping steep and they're not exactly short either.
Oh, go this one, come early.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hit the SIS gel in there.
Baxter's golden chain.
Was gold.
Was golden. It's going to need a little bit of TLC when you get back. Look at this. Waste disposal unit attached to the bike. You're very thoughtful individually. looks ominous. Select smallest gear. Alexa, smallest gear. Oh dear.
En route to our next eminence, we encountered double-digit difficulty, courtesy of a very slow-moving Range Rover, most likely stopping, to be fair,
Come on,
for
back into
cyclists
small gear.
ahead. Turns out, it's pretty difficult to negotiate sheer gradients at slow speeds, especially when you get into the death loop of accidentally changing up into the big ring, then correcting, nothing happening, changing again, only to find that you move back into the small ring and then back into the big ring once again. Yep, I do this repeatedly, making life once again unnecessarily difficult for myself.
Look at this beautiful titanium bike. The level of concern is rising once again. Look at this beast. Oh my word, this looks disgusting. Yeah, disgusting is the word, isn't it?
Park Rash is epic. It bestows suffering and elation in equal measure. Serious cycling entertainment. 400 watts for the first section, up and out the saddle, chanting a single mantra to myself. Do not stop pedalling. Do not stop pedalling. Do not stop. At all costs, do not stop pedalling.
All kinds of trouble.
Through my peripheral vision, I made out Michael Harran, perched atop Park Rash's hairpin and providing very much needed encouragement. At 84 kilometres in, Park Rash, 2 kilometres at 10% average gradient, obtrudes from the landscape without making any pretense to hide its perpendicular gradients. DEFCON 1, tears of disbelief almost welling beneath my pops, and it does not disappoint. And all of these steep ascents, core strength plays a really big role here, whether seated or standing, because the more stable the upper torso, well, the less energy that gets wasted, and therefore more of that energy gets converted into power and torque through the crank.
Nice little pace line here.
After this pace line, both of my GoPro batteries have run out, so I can't show you Trapping Hill, which commences at 129 kilometres, but I can report that it's okay, because by this stage, you're now a veteran of the steep gradients in dramatic and exposed countryside.
Yeah, get small
so
here.
we quickly consumed its 1.1 kilometres and reasonably consistent by Yorkshire standards.
Thank you.
9% gradient at sweet spot.
A little bit.
By the time you get back to Pateley Bridge at 151 kilometres, you are acutely aware that this is a low-laying point on the topography, and there's only one way out of Pateley, and that's up, 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 likely vertical. So time once again to get the protractor out of your pencil case. I filmed this the day before with Paul. Two Steves provides the emergency exit out of Pateley, measuring up at 2.6 kilometres at a very innocent looking 7%. But with legs no longer fresh and a super steep first 1.1 kilometres, this does provide a final and despicable challenge. But fueled by fast digesting carbohydrates plus the elation of this being the last big challenge, one final big push sees the steep part dispensed with, and then it's time to tap out the tempo to the summit.
This is the steepest, it says, yeah. 700 metres from memory, so shouldn't be too much more. Another 60-90 seconds, I guess.
It was a lot of fun and also a privilege to meet so many folk in the community. So thanks to Michael Burns, who I should report his Bianchi got blown off the back of his car and destroyed on the way home. So sorry to hear that, Michael. It was a beautiful bike, but I'm glad you're not hurt. Phil Rich and his Mrs. Laura, Lee Baxter, David Freight Train Raynham, Tommy Blake, Edward of the Laverack, Charlie, Piglet Hamblett, and also along the way, Paul Ingram, Top Cat, aka Tony, and his partner in crime, Will Smith, and Michael Harran. Thanks for the pics, Michael.
2 steeps is in the bag. Boy oh boy. The level of concern hit a peak during that, and there was no emergency coat me way up. 174 kilometres, 3,400 metres of climbing. It was emotional. I found it a struggle. Very apt. Oh, right on the limit of my endurance there, but executed the strategy more or less. Power zone 5, i.e. kind of sweet spot. 250 to 290 watts on the climbs. On the steep bits obviously you're way over, and then endurance wherever else I could, and a nice little pace line where we got down some tempo. It was good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.
Hey, well done. Nice one.
Wow, that was proper art there.
It keeps you busy.
It sure does, it sure does.
Got these for you.
Thank you very much, it's very nice of you.
How'd you find it?
I struggle.
Yeah,
I'm sure
well,
everybody has said that to you.
Yeah.
But emotional.
Yeah, well, it's the last 30 miles with a lovely headwind that year. Just gonna enjoy.
Sure did.
Here's the Training Peaks data. Average power 153 and normalised 210. Does a normalised make me nearly a 220 man, Ian Carson and Paul Alex? Answers on a postcard, please.
Yeah.
David, Lee, it's been emotional. Thank you for the tow. Thank you for the tow. Boy, did I need a tow. Nice one, Phil. And thanks for stewarding us, Ed.
Good job, mate.
The Good Shepherd, Laverack.
I tried.
Is that something else to add to his repertoire? The 28 is by his FTP.
He has the gargantuan
The Shepherd
FTP minute waistline and
as well as the King of
the
the Freaks.
Shepherd stick. Proper tough, eh, Tommy? Proper tough. Making life difficult but stylish. The Enigma. Nice one, sir. Got it around in a fast time. Well, Avilia and I are waiting for the cavalry to arrive, aka Jayne in the car, and we definitely didn't get lost and have to send her where am I pin. We didn't. We definitely didn't. Absolutely shattered, but thoroughly enjoyed the day. I'm going to report back a little bit more with some of the footage on the climbs and all that kind of stuff. But I also wanted to say, I've got these new Northwave Extreme Pro cycling shoes. And I'm going to do a little review on them because they have been really comfortable. They're light, they're stiff, they're comfortable, and they've got a kind of a technology. I don't know what that technology is, but it kind of avoids there being any pressure points on the ball of the foot, and so these have been super comfortable over the last 6.5 hours of riding. More to come. There's the cavalry. Boy, am I glad to see you.
Mum asked me what your number was, I got it wrong.
Boy, am I glad to see you.